Go.
Hi, Warriors. Dale Pinkert and Mike Venezia here at TradeGATEHub.com, and we are powered by TradeView Markets. So we have some midterms today here in the States, Mike. A lot of noise. I think a lot of things are probably baked in, like the House of Representatives, Congress probably is going to go Republican. I guess the only thing up for grabs is who controls the Senate, and does it matter? I mean, the market would like to see paralyzed government so that they can't continue to have spending, uncontrolled spending, and add to our deficit and potentially higher inflation. But there's a couple markets of interest I want to bring up that's important.
That was a great segue, Coach.
Yeah. So anyway, look at the 10-year. Look at the 10-year here, buddy. Yeah. So we never made new highs with the hawkish Fed, with a strong headline number. And with that happening, U.S. dollar yen is under pressure. The dollar continues to be under pressure, and really huge breakouts in gold and silver.
Why did that happen today, Coach? If everything, listen, hold on. Even last night going into, we thought that the Senate, or the race, if you will, to broaden it, was clearly, it was clear what was going on. So at what point does it stop being baked in? You know what I mean? Why did gold make this? If my question is, when you brought up gold, why did it take? Why was it so delayed?
All right. Well, we had that huge day Friday, right? So we only had a couple days delay. That was right here, and as soon as the yen started coming off and taking out this 146 level, which correlates when this is going down to lower yields. The fact that yields look like they were headed down is supportive for commodity prices, supportive for foreign currencies, and lower yields also, helping S&Ps. So it was, when the dollar's bad, Mike, we've talked about this a long time. When the dollar isn't good, everything else is. When the dollar is strong, everything else suffers. So we're still under the regime of the dollar weakening, and gold just really moved sideways for a day. This was Friday, and we just flagged, and it's pretty powerful.
But that was 3 days ago. It was making your low.
Yeah, this was really okay. All right, it's time for a little confession here. So I thought last week going into the Fed that we were going to have one more washout in the gold. Okay. That we were going to clean out these stops, that we were going to head towards this 1580, 1590 level. But what turned it around was the China news on Thursday. Right. That was really what lit it up, the rumors that they're going to come out of lockdown. And then yesterday, and it even lit up copper. I'm sure you're doing pretty good in Freeport. So copper pulled back yesterday.
Okay, we'll write that down. Go ahead.
Copper pulled back yesterday because then there was doubt about the reopening. So it's almost like the China reopenings, like the Fed will pivot or it doesn't pivot. It's like we have another pivot story here with China. Are they going to reopen? Are they going to continue in lockdown? And open China is going to, goose some demand for commodities, and that's what lit up the gold on Thursday. This was Thursday.
I think it's different this time, and I'm only going by the price action of the charts because some software. Let me go into. I don't know if it's
okay. I want to. So I'll hand you the charts. That's a real interesting statement because, we've heard that a million times. It's different this time. And for you to be saying it, I want to know what is.
I'm going to tell you why. And it's technical. Hold on a second.
Okay.
It's technical this time. And that gives me confirmation. Okay. Freeport, let's look at the GLD, for example. Let's look at GLD. I look at GLD. I don't really trade the futures or the commodity. I like trading the GLD and I'm an equity guy. That's what I do.
Right.
Okay. So I look at the GLD here, which if I don't care if, like we say, they make widgets or they make semiconductors. The chart on GLD and the news was fundamental and probably moved that previous time around here on China news, if I'm not mistaken. So We put in a new low.
That was sure a tough close to buy, wasn't it down there? Didn't it look like we were going to new lows?
Well,
We were at new
I'm
lows.
afraid it might. What's going to stop the GLD? This is why it's different. What's going to stop GLD from pulling the same thing over the 50-day with the volume when it was oversold right here than it's going to do here? And it's just because of this. The charts are better. Here's GDX. Now I'm sorry. Here's GDX. Now this is different this time. When GLD we made this move up here.
Great
Now
point.
GDX is sufficiently higher. AEM has been acting better than all of them all put together.
Yeah.
Look at NUGT. The triple ETF is the one that really tips the hat. You know, it's options related. Here's where GLD was, that prior high. Here's the volume isn't even close to it was last time. So when these triple ETFs are like this Nougat is trading more volume than it did since February, even on the previous GLD bounce. Let's go to GONG, the other ETF. This one hasn't picked up yet. It might be on the radar, but
so it's different this time because shares are outperforming the bullion.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. I agree. And you know
I
what?
was
They have been.
You re-edified with me. It's one of the first things I ever asked you. Literally, it was it was a broad general question. The stocks still lead the commodities, and you know what? Maybe it's 1 out of 2, 3. 3 out of 10 times it doesn't work. Net, you got to ride the winners when it does, and it looks like it might be different this time.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a move.
Let's look at AU. I mean, the last time GLD bounced. I'm sorry for interrupting, Coach.
No, it's okay. They're good points.
There wasn't really wasn't a different bottom. Now it's even out of the broader channel. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm looking at. It's I'm looking at the other ones pulling up CDE as opposed to GLDB. Now it's got algos on it. It's above the 200-day. It has volume. It's the right time, it seems. So now I think it's different. You know what I mean?
We have a breakout.
I am in GDX.
Until the breakout's negated. And GDX, to me, it looked like 26 was the breakout on GDX, a straight line across. That's GDXJ. But it's the same thing.
Because as GLD had pulled back and rested on that gap, as you said, or you rested. This is the one that didn't. It never pulled below that. You could see it. A coil.
Yeah. So if you look at the prior high at 26, and there was one right around there. If you just draw a horizontal line at 26, it looks like a breakout. We shouldn't close back under 26, and the formation actually measures towards 30. So the 200-day looks like a layup here.
And that's your move. And by the way, another compliment. I wouldn't short it. I mean, I'm not saying it's a short candidate. But for a person that likes to take moves, even on exacerbated moves with maybe a printer volume, you know what I mean? That's about 9 out of 10. It's not really the gauge. It's how I do it, just because I have a wide parameter of moves. So, yeah.
Right. SILJ looks pretty good. Same type of action on the juniors ETF. They're not quite above that high. But there are some that are challenging it. And you know what came to life yesterday? I wanted to ask you about it. I follow a couple of uranium issues. They really caught on fire. One of them did that I follow, URA, I think it is.
That's right there, yeah. And you know what, Coach? I've been the best to breed uranium stock.
UROY, I think it is.
It is right there. Right.
I think it's UROY, which is a royalty type of stock. There you go. Look at that. Look at that gap.
There's a good gap. With volume is even more important because you know what? This is what I don't know what the news was. This is what I see when I see this chart. I'm like trying to be. I see a move like this with volume. I like that because when you see this, it's got the moves in it. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I don't want to be necessarily taking a position in uranium in the fund or doing anything like that. If it's in the right time, it's got the move in it, then I do like it. It's got volume. Last time it did it. So it's got to move. I actually write that down.
Yeah, go ahead. Use your, I think your yellow dry marker when something special is
it's right
happening.
Here. Yeah,
look at that thing.
It hasn't come off in a while.
He's had that since 8th grade. That's his lucky.
I didn't need 8th grade. I cheated all throughout college. Now I can't cheat.
All right. So what else?
I'll give you another one. Freeport McMoran was another tell. Let's get back.
Yeah, remember last week we said it held where it had to.
Right there. FCX, same thing.
Remember we said Thursday. It held where it had to.
Exactly.
Right there at 30.
That was the exact term. That gave you every indication that something might have been, something might have been up there. What else is
That
acting
looks
well?
good.
So, yeah, that looked
So
good.
anything that you could drop in if it falls on your foot hurts is performing today.
You know what? That's true.
Yeah.
It's all, coach. It's all, look at DuPont, except if you, maybe you could sniff it if you like.
Is that a Steel? Oh
No,
yeah.
DuPont. I don't
Yeah.
even know if it's in the Dow anymore. DuPont
Okay.
making another moves, going para. DuPont was, this is the move in DuPont in the morning. It opened at
Wow.
63, got everybody out at 68. It had a $6 move, DuPont.
Yeah.
DuPont continuing the Dow run. IBM continuing the Dow
Still
run.
squeezing. Yeah.
What else? I'm trying not to look at my screen because I will in a second because I get distracted. All these stocks are just Starbucks. How about
I
this
saw
one?
you mentioned that earlier.
How could you not like this? It's the same thing. Had earnings. It's not like one of these earnings stocks that, it's not like what Wayfair did. Wayfair, these poor people in Wayfair. I digress. Wayfair had earnings the other day. It printed 42. Trust me. And I'm saying to myself, Wayfair was the perfect gauge of a short squeeze stock. It shouldn't even be $10, much less 32. And that's when I thought that maybe it was over because they were taking up the short squeeze stock. So Wayfair went from 30 from 40 to 30 after earnings. But so that was off my screen on the watch list. Another stock that had reported earnings, that is in the Dow, I believe, was Starbucks. Broke above the 200-day, all the gaps. It's trying to rest a little bit. Today it was positive. Tim Fury positive. Could have bought it right on the open at 90. And it continued going to 93. So that was an example of doing your homework, showing what's relative strength, a power earnings gap, buying something that's positive in the right sector, meaning the Dow, and just, it wasn't really that difficult of a trade. So
Mike, if I'm right about yields peaking up here at this, the recent high was what is it, 425 on the 10-year. What shares, say for example, I think the 10-year could fall to 3% yield. That's a big move from here. Okay, I mean we're still what at 415. So you're talking about over 100 bips. What would you say if I said, well, okay, yields are going to fall to that level? What would you be hunting right now?
I'd probably nibble on the NASDAQ. I'd nibble on the biotechs. They'd probably add to existing winners if they would have pulled, if the rotation would have pulled back accordingly. Listen, I like we say all the whole time, we're looking for new leaders. Is Google necessarily the new leader? Like I pulled up the chart that I'm in, and I'm looking, that I'm not down. It was a safe, it was a safe play. But you know what? Stocks that are the new breeds, I like to show in semiconductor. Everybody knows that. That's a stock that hasn't flinched.
They're very interest rate sensitive.
And they are. So if they pull back, they're going up. AEHR is another one that's hanging. These are the new stocks that people are playing, Coach. Pardon me. MU, even a major cyclical stock, is looking good on a technical level right here.
There's MU trying to come out.
Yeah, trying to pull out of that cup and what do they call it? A cup and handle. Taiwan Semiconductor, a little trouble. That's even starting to pop a little bit. So maybe they pull back base, but it's all predicated upon how they absorb the PPI news and news. That's all. It's all, everything into earnings season starting to abate. Everything between now and the Fed meeting is just interim trading until another binary situation happens. Hopefully you're on the right side. If you're not, then you got to dig out of another hole until the next time.
Yeah, because Thursday will be binary. And if we get some type of decline in comparisons to a year ago of inflation, that would also reinforce lower rates coming. And I know I've been the boy who cried wolf a few times on that, but it's certainly looking like 10 years peaking here, and we're going to have the big surprise is going to be that yields are falling. Okay, maybe all the way into the Fed meeting.
I hope it's a delayed reaction, just like it was for GLD. As I posted on TGH this morning, UBS has their disinflationary winners. If the pullback would be like you say. So here are a couple of examples. So I'm not the judge and the jury. I get it. If you don't like Netflix, focus around it. Maybe it's Roku or something like that. But I posted it this morning because I kind of felt I was building a plan for that to happen as well. And here's a couple of their opinions. Netflix, Swix, which that's heavily with that. A couple of, Autodesk. Those are a couple of ideas of, but basically they're going to technology or some bios. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
which was I would do. So you know what? The reason why I wouldn't want to go in the queues or anything like
It's
that is
because of Apple. Apple.
that's right. And go, there's so many sexier new things that everybody, including myself, I'm trying to convey to you that have to do your research on. It's not if you're looking for, if you're looking for, I don't know, Square, which does look good right now. I mean, maybe for a move to, 90 or 80, but if you think it's going back to recover it anyway, it's not. You know what I mean? That's not. It might go to, 100, which is actually a pretty good move, but it's over. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to look for new ones. Everybody knows that I like is AHR. I like ON Semiconductor. I like REGN. I told everybody about that. REGN tried to have the shakeout with numbers. Don't be dismayed. It's a $700 stock. It's a game changer. Get to know it. I don't want to be a Weisenheimer, but if you can't do it, it's also in the IBB. The IBB is the old XBI or old Lebu. The IBB is it's like the Dow Industrials is to biotech. The XBI is like the NASDAQ. You know what I mean, Coach?
Yeah.
There's the chart in the XBI. It's called the.
I don't see it. I'm still
I'm
seeing
sorry.
your distance.
Here's the XBI that has all the little low floaters and all the little spec ones. But IBB has this one, has Amgen. You know what I mean? Has Regan.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in the IBB, because right now these little specs aren't working. So that's the one to be in IBB.
How do housing stocks look like with
They look, you know
yield?
what? They're mixed. I mean, let's go to the
Okay.
XHB, pardon. They're the home builders. They're coiled. They're coiled for
I think if I'm right about yields, I think this could trade 68 again.
Well, I'll give you the best or the one that's acting the best, and David Tepper's in it, I believe.
Good company. It doesn't look any better. It's the same pattern.
Yeah, they're all Pulte, Toll.
They all look the same.
Yeah, they all are.
That's good.
The first one they pulled up, Lennar, is the best of breed.
You know where you're wrong. Last week's lows.
Yeah.
And that one looks pretty good too.
It does.
90, 95.
No, that's the one, that's the
because that's going to surprise the market, especially as bearish and all the negative news you get on real estate right now. Who the hell would want to buy a home builder? No, it's a contrarian trade.
It's just, but everybody's just so offside still. If I post here, going back,
I was going to ask you that. You mean sentiment wise, positioning wise?
Sentiment is better, but positioning is still way off. I'm going to get down to what I wrote here. Listen, obviously the midterm elections, it might be a reason for them to take it up anymore.
I would vote for you for anything you ever ran for.
Oh, okay. Well, I appreciate that, Coach.
You let me know. I'll run a campaign for you, and
I'll tell you the truth.
How honestly, aggressive I am.
This is the truth. The truth. Honestly, I'm actually very, very honest. Really, I am to a fault. Actually, not.
Let me be honest. You know what I say when people say this to me, Mike? Ever hear anyone say this to you? Let me be honest with you. You know what I say?
Says that. That means you're lying off the bat.
You know what I say? Why me? Why why me and why now?
No, I say it. No, I try to make them. I try to subtly let them know that that's not a lead-in. I said, please, yes, I'd like you to be honest with me. That's what I said.
It's expected. Thank you. Anyway, just a little, certain things.
Goldman, Real Alley, old economy outperforms. 20 years ago, you're making a fortune trading DuPont and IBM. You know what I mean? Now those are on the secondary screen now. So the inflationary winners, let me go right here. Hold on.
Maybe it's time to rotate out of banks if I'm right about yields too. Is it possible that if yields drop, it's not going to be so great for the financials?
Well, there's so much support. They turned into having so much supply, and now they have so much support. Coach Goldman, the big daddy. You know what I mean? Let it pull back. We could pull back 10%. It's still
It will.
JP, no, you know what? I wouldn't be JP Morgan to help. A pullback is needed. Bank of America.
Right.
I don't know. Wells Fargo, everybody knows that's our best. Well, actually, it's not the best of breed. That's the one we have. That's the one we have in TradeView in the fund. We're okay with it. Fast, still underperforming because that's a triple ETF. Let's look at our MasterCard, underperforming. Visa. So it is the banks. It's not credit. Capital One. So that's why Fast is underperforming, because that's a triple ETF and because it has those credit companies. But you want to go to the XLF. That's the one that's outperforming because that has the big banks in the and the what do you call those
Right.
regionals.
Well, I looked like 33 would be a important level if it pulled back to it.
Yeah,
Where
absolutely.
the
Right here,
move,
gaps, everything.
I love when there's confluence of the moving averages coming together like that. It acts as a pretty good support zone, like a magnet.
Okay, let's look up here what the wise guys are doing. You know what? And it's gonna. I wish there. Listen, if there wasn't an economic number, this is one of the times I actually wish there wasn't. I would be more comfortable getting into these GDXs and GDXJs and these nougats. And but you know, I'm gonna have to see what happens. Hey, you know, that's a third
Yeah.
day up. It's not my style. You know how I feel about the third day up, coach. You know.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see after that. Let's go to the wise guys are doing right now. It's approaching 11:30 Eastern on this Tuesday. I'm having more followers. Here, right here. We have this coach's guest we're having on when? Coach?
Yeah. Thursday. Jake
Thursday.
will be with us.
He's the founding team member of Trend Spider, coach. Look at
You
this.
ever use those charts? I know.
Right here.
You use
I got it.
his charts.
I'm in.
Okay.
I spend 100 a month. I don't
You
even do
use
that.
like the teardrops, and he has a lot of real original type indicators.
This is me. I have it all here. I don't even use it as
Alright.
much as I should. I want to actually ask
Alright.
Lewis to set it up for me. Anyway,
Okay.
great
All
call, coach. Having that great guest. I mean, having a guy that not only is a good trader, but a proprietary, guy's got 200,000 followers. Bravo.
Yeah, I knew him before he was famous.
Yeah. I have a couple of people.
I'm trying to, maybe I'll be as famous as people I discovered one day.
Hopefully, well, I don't want to be famous. Maybe a little bit more liquid.
Yeah.
Okay, wise guys.
Screw the fame. Yeah.
Morning update via Goldman. Read that. Best activity. Large buy skew today. Highest buy skew on our floor since October 3rd.
Yeah. Okay,
Goldman.
month. Yeah.
Okay. But it just wasn't Tesla, Upstart coin buybacks. I'll post it later. Wise guys, what are they doing? CPNG, Netflix calls. There you go. Some guys beating it. Gold. Repeat sweepers in the name alongside several other miners. There's been some quality
leap buying.
That's exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
You don't want to see some guy buying a couple of weeklies to hedge on the PPI number. You're going to guy that says, I don't care what happens. A year now from later, I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying.
That's like buy him.
GDX right here, coming off the little right. This is all over one of my guys' feeds. It's great. 4 minutes. So GDX is coming to a little bit of rest right here. It's going outside the line. So that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, Mike, anything you
chart
want
on
to
the
wrap it
dollar?
with on this election eve? I think
it's
Pinker
exciting.
called this break in the dollar from last week. So you know what, Mike, I'm actually, you know, I know you're going to think I'm crazy, but you know, now that the dollar is beginning to decline, I don't like the quality of the decline. I don't like that the Dixie has a confirmed high at the high. And I'm thinking, you know, that maybe this 98 level might hold in the dollar.
You want me to share screen? You want to show me?
And we get one more. Sure. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll
let me see what you're talking about, Coach. That's a good one.
All right. Because I think it's important because.
Yeah, no, I want to hear it. It's going to get the highlighter.
Okay. You have to stop sharing.
Oh. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Now where is it? Okay. So this is really the whole ball game with metals and risk and everything is. So we're headed down in the dollar right now.
Wow.
And it's this type of decline that's, you know, pretty orderly, and maybe it's a distribution top, but you see this RSI right here at the highs?
I do.
All right. You know, my belief that markets rarely peak, and that's rarely a high when momentum confirms the price high, which it did back here. So this is making me think that it's corrective, and there might be some type of risk off event coming, that we get one more high in the dollar going into year end early next year. And then it's a short for the remainder of the year. But the fact that
I could listen. That chart, like we say, no matter if it had widgets, I would be looking at that. That's a chart with volume and range that I'd be looking to play no matter what. That's a good trading vehicle.
And here's the really the bull bear line in the sand for the dollar. This was the COVID high as well. These highs at 103. So this 104 level is for the bulls to maintain control. See, this was a COVID high right here. And then we stalled a little bit here. Then we tested the breakout and exploded. So really the line in the sand for the bull case in the dollar comes in at 104.
104. All right.
But again, confirmed highs on the monthly, confirmed highs. Did we have confirmed highs on the weekly? We were diverging a little bit on the weekly, but if we bottom here, say around 108.5 or so, and rally one more time, the weekly won't confirm. I don't think the daily will confirm, and we'll have momentum divergences if that setup occurs for one more high into year end.
Whoa. No, I got you, coach. Yeah.
All right. Great collaborating with you
No,
every
that was a
time we
good
do
one.
it, man.
I'm trying to take some profits here as we're going to sign off for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, no, coach, good one. And with so
But gold, I
the
think,
base is when is the election? Are the results already over?
no, and they'll be counting votes, and I think there's going to be a lot of delays that we won't know for weeks, and there'll be challenges. My hope is that people accept the results of the election and we don't go through another thing where we don't know and people lose complete confidence in our electoral process.
Well,
What
it
we
would be
have
good
left
for the
here.
it would be good for the VIX in short term, but I don't want that. I don't.
You know what? I interviewed a guy and I've had him here, Pavel Hala.
Yeah.
And he made a case yesterday that the VIX is one of the most undervalued asset classes on the board right now.
You know what?
Undervalued asset class.
Look at this. And you know what, coach? He's not alone.
Okay.
As
So I was actually thinking about, doing something here in the next few days. Getting long some VIX exposure in the next few days or into, there's a saying on Wall Street. You ever hear this one? The bears feast on Thanksgiving, the bulls feast on Christmas.
Coach, I'm selling here. I'm not going to lie to you.
Okay. Anyway, I think there's going to be a pullback and, it could start any day now.
Going to start now. Me unloading a lot of stairs. Watch.
All right. All right. Anyway, great to hang with you when you're booking profits, buddy.
No, I am. I'll show you. Look, you want to share a screen? I'll show you. I just sold 20,000 shares or something. Boom. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. You know what? Everybody can tune into share screen. Boom.
No, you don't have to. Everyone could tune in tomorrow. You're on.
Boom.
Okay, so you're taking some off here.
Well, I was starting you at 23.30. I was bagged in it. Now it's 24.60 at the $1.60. Boom.
Yeah.
Mitten bids.
And there's a candle. Yeah. Okay. Mike the trader.
Live trade. All right, guys. Listen.
Mike's the trader.
I'll leave you up here. I'll be on after lunch. Have a plan. Trade well. And listen, do your homework. There's always another trade. Like I said, we're not going to be. You're not going to be short of things to do or instruments to trade or even why. It's really just getting to know yourself and your plan. The easiest thing to do is go on the TradeView Markets demo or a live feed. Anybody can ask anybody, myself, Lewis in the room, or coach. We're all happy to help you just as we do trading. So we'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in.
Do yourself a favor and open an account at TradeView. Anyone that I've ever had open an account with TradeView still has their account open. And that's a statement in a revolving door industry. So there you go. I rest my case.
And you know what? I'll even say this. Everybody look at my dossier. I was in a blue chip firm before I came here. I was there for 16 years. I'm approaching being at TradeView almost as long as I was as a previous firm. That's how much. And I was here from the infancy. That's how much I was a believer in the infancy stages. So I guess I'm known for my timing. Touche.
Okay, buddy. All right. So that's a wrap. Remember, everyone, don't just count your money, count your blessings.